Hi everybody, I wanted to create a quick video to help you get started on science fair and answer any questions you might have. This year we are trying to go green at DOS, and so science fair documents have been uploaded on Blend. You are welcome to print them out at home because sometimes I know if you're like me, it's easier for me to have a hard copy out to look at. Or you can just access it through Blend and never print it out. So you need to be able to log on to portal.austinisd.org. Parents and students should be able to do this. And then you need to access our Blend course, which is what I'm about to click on. Most of you have done this already this year. Some parents have not, so please check as soon as possible to make sure that you're able to get on and access this content. So you click Blend after you've logged onto the portal. Mine might look a little different than yours because I have a bunch of different things I'm enrolled in, but you'll look for our homeroom class, say homeroom 154 Carol, my last name. And on this page, you will see some announcements, newsletters, information, go all the way down to academics and go to science. And when you get to science, you should see all these little documents. So it was first sent to me in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different documents, but then it was combined all into one file. So you can decide if you kind of want to look at them separately. Today, I'm just going to look at them like this. Okay, and you're able to zoom out completely. So 4th grade is required to do a science fair project and participate in the DOS Science Fair that will be on January 16th. It's only the beginning of November, but we like to try to get students working on it now just so that they don't save it for the last minute. So we have some checkpoints to help them. In your student's planner, your child's planner, unless he or she was absent, they should have written down all of these dates. So Friday, November 8th, we actually already have our composition books in class, so they didn't have to write that down. But the very first thing they should have written down on Thursday, November 21st, was that their testable question or problem statement is due. And then again on December 9th, they should have written that their hypothesis is due. Friday the 13th, procedure outline due. And then the beginning of January, I'll do a science journal progress assessment. And then January 16th is when a science fair board, the trifold board with the 3 sides that stands up on its own, is due in class along with their science fair journal. And then the actual science fair will happen on Thursday, January 23rd during the school day. You are welcome to come see the science fair that night. There's a lot of help sessions that can help your child get started, and I highly suggest that your student do this if they are able to get a ride home because there will not be bus service. So these all happen on these days. The student help sessions in the cafeteria are the ones I really suggest. They help kind of general project guidelines, and they're November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th, Friday, December 6th, and Wednesday, January 8th till 4:15 in the cafeteria. And you'll see what they show you over here, what they're helping with. There's also some one-on-one help sessions. I would say this is for somebody who maybe won't have as much time or help with someone at home, and they need like a teacher or a parent volunteer to help walk them through the process. And then it looks like there's also an independent work study hall on Tuesday, December 17th. If you keep going down, there's important things to remember about. There's no extension of time. There's requirements. There's a science fair journal where students should write everything down that they're doing. They have to have a display that's on a trifold board. Oops, sorry guys. Okay. And things that it can't have, like it can't have firearms or explosives, can't hurt or cause illness to the animal. They don't want any sort of like live organisms or food, even in sealed bags. The project, and I think that the reason they do this is because this is the rules for the regional science fair. So we follow the rules here in case your project advances. There will be a presentation where students will talk to 2 adults and just kind of go through their project. And down here on the page, it talks about what these might be. There are some different things that parents you need to sign off on when your child decides to write a problem and a hypothesis. I need to make sure that you're on the same page as them and you're okay with what they're doing. There are some examples here of what that might look like. And before those are due, I will also go over examples in class and try to do a video like this so that you know what to expect. Stay tuned for information about how I want you to sign off on that. Since we are not printing this stuff out at DOS, I don't know that I'll have you just sign something in their planner that you know what their project is. I need to check it and I need to know that you're aware, and I'll let you know exactly how I want to do that before it's due. Here's some other guidelines, resources, ways that you can help, judging, different awards, and then here's a great timeline to help you stay on track. I would really use this as an opportunity to teach your child, and I will help them at school too, that when you have a big long-term project, you really want to make sure that you are taking it bits at a time and not saving it all for the end. So you'll see this time before Thanksgiving, it's really selecting a topic, asking questions, maybe starting your hypothesis and doing some research, because we need to do research before we can make a hypothesis. This week in December, a hypothesis is due and a procedure outline. Procedure outline does not mean that the project has to be finished. It just means that the student needs to know what their steps are and what they will be doing. Over the winter break or sometime in December, I really do suggest that you at least get started on the project, because when we get back in January, there will be like 1 week before it's due in class. And that's the time that your child's really going to want to spend to put their board together and type everything up and come up with their results and conclusions. And so we really shouldn't be saving the actual experiment until January. When we get back from school, it probably needs to happen before then. And then there's all these pages that kind of walk students through the process. Brainstorming topics, science journals, which we'll go over in class, writing the testable question, writing the hypothesis, making the materials list, writing the procedure. This is really the scientific method. We've talked about it in class, and now they're doing it on their own. Writing the results, making tables, charts, and graphs, writing a conclusion. Again, we will go through this step by step at school, but I also want parents to be aware. Students will need to cite references and use research. And this shows them how to do that. Writing acknowledgments. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for helping me with my project. And that's about it. There's another page that shows an example of what a science fair project might look like. This is an example board. Okay, so this might be what it looks like at the end when they turn it in. Okay. And I believe those are most of the documents. Okay. Yep, it tells you the general stuff. It tells you the step-by-step, which we looked at, which is through the scientific method and experiment board, resources and judging, and a good timeline for students to follow. Okay, so that is all that I have right now. Make sure you put those help sessions in your calendar. Try to attend them if you can. And most importantly, make sure that we're coming up with a topic and kind of a timeline of when that can be done in class or at home. We will talk about science fair a lot in class, and I'll give examples and I'll help students know what they should be doing, but the actual experiment and putting the board together, that will all happen at home. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I am happy to help as always. Thanks, guys. Bye.